So, do you lock in and grind and push your way to the top and sacrifice the fun things and put the harder things first, grind and try your best to make it? Or do you just enjoy life? I got an email from a guy last week. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to get to it sooner, but he's basically asking me that question. He referred to a video that I made before and said he's 17 and he's kind of at the stage that I was when I was 17. Like, you know, just kind of lock in and do the good habits and kind of try and make a life for yourself, basically. And what he was asking is is that the right thing to do, or should he just take life slow and enjoy being young and enjoy life? And I think this is kind of like the golden question of this generation, because never before, in my opinion, has this amount of wealth, this amount of knowledge, this amount of, you know, life been accessible to young people under 25. Never has it been this easy to, you know, get rich or build a life for yourself that you want, and it's never been this accessible. You know, you go on YouTube, you go on Instagram, you go on TikTok, you go on anything, you'll see 17-year-old, how I made 2 million at 17, or how I made 5 million before 21, or you just see it everywhere. So that is super normal to see. It's not like out of the world to see an 18-year-old earning 100k a month on social media. So it's only natural that more and more people are starting to think, hey, you know, I need to do this. Like, why am I wasting time? And you see, the thing about me is I fight this dilemma every day. Like, every day I go through this. Every day I'm asking myself, do I lock in or do I enjoy life? But the thing about me is my definition of enjoying life is different. Like, for me to enjoy life, I feel like I need to, you know, be taking the trips and traveling. I feel like I need to be eating the foods that I want to eat. I feel like I need to be spending my days how I want to spend it. And that's just impossible to do if I'm not rich. So the natural right answer would be to focus on getting rich and lock in. And then afterwards, once I get to that level, then I can enjoy life. Because I feel like that definition is kind of skewed. Like, enjoy life. What is that? I don't even know what that means. I get a lot of talk from my grandparents about how I need to relax and enjoy and go out and, you know, drink and just be young. But genuinely, I'm not even trying to say this to be smart or look more mature for my age, but that's just not really that enjoying for me. That's not that fun for me. I don't really get much enjoyment from that. So I just don't see myself doing that. So I was gonna record the rest of the video on my walk, but I feel like I need to sit down to really get off my chest what I want to say, because this topic is a very, very, very common topic, and I've found myself like struggling with this topic for so long, since I've been, I call it conscious, probably since I was 16, 17, conscious of like the life that people want to build and the life that I especially want to build and the places that I want to get to. And just to carry on from literally what I was saying earlier, there's a mistake that I made a lot, and I guess I still make, and I think a lot of people make this mistake. So the two lanes a lot of people go down is, like I've mentioned before, do you lock in, grind, work hard, or do you enjoy life? I'm just going to focus on that first part, the lock in, grind, enjoy life, get rich. A lot of people, when they talk about get rich, it's the amount of money that's in your bank account. So if someone was to ask me now, what can I do to get rich? It would probably be, you know, pick up more shifts or sell your clothes. Like, literally try and get as much money in your bank account as possible. But that's so flawed, because you're not going to get rich by that. Like, the person you are right now you're probably not in the position to get rich, because whether you like it or not, the amount of money you get paid is directly a reflection of what value you give to the world. So think of a doctor. Let's say a doctor gets 100k a year. That's because they're giving supposedly 100k's worth of value. And then you think of, I don't know, you work in a warehouse, you're getting 25k a year. That's because you're giving 25k worth of value to the world. Obviously, it's not very valuable because a lot of people can work in a warehouse job. It doesn't take many qualifications. It doesn't take much skill to work in a warehouse. Not to not to disrespect warehouse workers, but a lot of times excuse my voice by the way, I'm pretty sick, but I haven't uploaded in 2 weeks, so I needed to get this out. I just lost my train of thought. But anyways, you get paid directly in proportion to the value you give to the world, or your apparent value. So what I'd say in terms of locking in, I'd say what locking in means is increasing your value in the social hierarchy, so to say. And there's lots of ways you can do that. The first way, which is the easiest way, is to, improve your health, get fit. Train your body, train your mind. So train your body, you want to go to the gym, you want to do cardio, you want to, become healthy. Treat your body like a temple. You only get one body, so the healthier you can keep it, the better you'll be in life. And your mind also, develop more skills with your mind. Learn things that you don't know, Yes, read, but direct your reading into some place. Like if you desire to run a clothing brand, read books on people who've made clothing brands, or read books on designers, or read books on stuff very specialized, because the books are good. They're like Atomic Habits and Rich Dad Poor Dad and Millionaire Fast Lane and Psychology of Money. Those books are great. But after you've read all of that, you have to specialize, and you have to really think about what it is that you wanna learn. Because there's millions of things out there. You have to pick exactly what you want to learn, and that's, in my opinion, training your mind without obviously the uni degrees or going to school or anything like that. So the more you increase your value, the more you'll be in a position to get paid. I'm not sure if my camera was dirty, but I just gave it a clean because there's I know you can see the glare of the sun. I don't know how I can stop that. But what I'd say to you, Mr. who's emailed me, is I'd say to focus on just leveling up. Like, obviously that's very vague and it might not be the best answer, but I'd focus on acquiring the most skills. Yes, lock in, but at the same time you're 17, so remember, there's only so much you're gonna get to right now. You're not gonna get to your peak fitness, you're not gonna get to your peak knowledge. So I'd say the closer you can get to that now is better. If you could spend 2 years, I don't know, deciding you're gonna learn a skill, or deciding I guess what you want to do really, but at the same time forget that, because that's a big question. A lot of people get asked that question and assume that they've got to decide what they want to do for the rest of their life, and obviously that's a huge ask. Just think about the next 5 years, let's say. Think about the next 3 years. What do you want to do for the next 3 years? Really, really, really simple it down. If you haven't, I'm going to tell you the story, or not the story, but the analogy. You have two guys, they're both 21 years old. One guy spends his 20s and his 30s working, grinding, working his arse off, not enjoying life at all. Just working as much as he can work, he's doing it. The money he makes, he's saving, he's investing, he's growing for 20 years. He's like, yo, I'm in grind mode. He gets to 40, he's got 4 million, let's say he's got to 40, he's got 40 million in the bank, because he's just grinded his arse off for the last 20 years, and he's gained all the skills, and he's done everything, done the hard things first, sacrificed gratification, and he gets to 40. He's got 40 million at 40 in his bank, so he's top 0.01% in the world. He's doing well. And the other guy who was 21, he spent his 20 years, grinding, but he had spells. So he grinded for 3, 4, 5, 6 years, and then maybe he took 6 months And then he grinded again, and it took 6 months. And he spent time, yes, grinding, but he also spent time locking out and enjoying life and making the most. And he gets to 40 as well, and he's got 10 million. So he's still doing absolutely top 1% banging, but he's got 30 million less than this guy. And the next day, they both have the same birthday, so they both turn 40 the same day. And the next day, the guy who's got 40 million, he takes a car to work and he gets in a car crash and he dies. And the other guy, whose birthday, he gets in a plane to go somewhere and he dies in a plane crash. So both of them die at 40. Whose life would you rather have? You know, because the bane of all high achievers is overworking yourself, working too hard, and not knowing when to break. You have to think, which would you rather be? I was listening to a Chris Williamson podcast called Modern Wisdom. Obviously he's got multiple episodes. I can't remember exactly what episode it was, but it's a good podcast that you guys should watch, the Modern Wisdom. New episodes every few days. And so a guy was working hard, he's in the same position, earning loads of money, had the family had the houses, had the yachts, flew everywhere. But the dad was so, he wasn't present at all because he was always working, he was always taking trips, he was always out doing things. So his kids grew up basically without the dad because the dad was always working, the dad was always busy. And naturally that created like a rift between the family because the dad wasn't around. But in his eyes, he's providing, he's making sure his kids have everything, making sure his wife has everything. Basically, to cut a long story short, what happens to the guy is he ends up coming back home one time and his wife's cheated on him with, I don't know, the personal trainer or something. He's thinking, oh my days, how could she do this? Like, I've done everything for her, I've made this life for her, how can she cheat on me? But she's done it, she's cheated on him. And the argument for her side was, obviously cheating's bad, you should never cheat. If you're gonna cheat, just break up or divorce. But he hasn't been around for 20 years. Yes, he's bought the house, bought the cars, bought the designer stuff, but you know, you never see them. And that's a position, guys, you never ever wanna be in. You never wanna be the guy who's too busy and just sacrifice his life, because not to get too spiritual, but you only really get one life. And you never know when it's gonna get cut short. You never know when it's gonna get cut short. So it's important to form your own opinions on life. You know, take my advice, but my advice is only based on the experiences that I've had in my life, which some are good, some are bad, just like everybody else's. But my advice to you would be, take my...
Every day I'm late, wash my clothes in the same sink. I don't give a damn what they think, long as I pay rent.